Call this meeting of Executive Finance Committee to order at 3:30. First, we do the invocation.
Father, the gracious Heavenly Father, thank you for the opportunity to serve our people. Those decisions that are made today be for the betterment of our tribe and citizens. We just thank you for all the blessings you bestow upon our nation. In Jesus' name we pray.
Here. Denise Taylor. Here. Jack Baker.
Here.
Artie Buzzer. Joe Bird.
Honey?
Julia Coates.
Here.
Janelle Fulbright. President John Garvin. Frankie Harkins. Tyler Dory Jordan. President. Lee Peter.
Honey?
Dick Lay.
Here.
Curtis Snell.
Here.
David Thornton.
On
Victoria Vasquez.
Honey.
David Watkins.
Honey.
Sarah Calaway.
Honey.
Entertain a motion for the approval of the December 16th regular and tax subcommittee.
I'll make a motion that both be approved.
Okay, motion made second. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? On the reports. Lacey.
Good afternoon, Tribal Council. Hello. I just want to thank all of you for the quick response to the warehouse surplus listing. I have a one-page instruction sheet for those of you who have organizations that are going to be picking up items, and this will tell them when and where to do so. So we'll leave that with Gail so that those of you who have those orgs can distribute that too. And with that said, you all have my report, so I'll be happy to take any questions.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you because you were very quick about response, and it was very organized, and it was extremely helpful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Clayton?
Good afternoon, Council. Be reporting on November financials. November was a great month for us. We finished at 9.5. Put us ahead. First quarter, the first 2 months, we're running ahead of budget. December, I'll be reporting next month, and it'll be a lot softer. Four to six snow days. We ended up closing rolling one weekend day, so December will be a lot softer than that. January seems to have bounced back, even though we did have a couple of weather days there. I'll hit about 6 or 7 highlights. We're finalizing the plans to build a new casino down at Roland. Some of you saw the initial renderings yesterday. Excited about that project. It's a long time coming, and I think it'll be really another great asset for the Cherokee Nation and for our employees down there. They've done a great job with the building that they're in now. We're redoing the original Cherokee Tower. It's about 10 years old now, and we're stripping that and refurbishing it. And that will begin in May, and it's a 6-week project. Redoing a Classics 24-hour Route 66 diner theme there in the Hard Rock. We've had focus groups time to time tell us we need a 24-hour restaurant, so we're putting that in. We're working with a group to internally to come up with some ideas about Outpost 1. We've got some issues there with the underground tanks that we need to address, and so we're trying to figure out if we want to just replace the tanks, or maybe it's really in need of a facelift and upgrade, or just build a new one somewhere. So over the next few months we'll be determining that. Do want to re-announce again that our hangar sale is tomorrow at 3 o'clock at the hangar. We're accepting sealed bids there. Reserve is $90,000. The appraisal is $125,000, and we're accepting bids there at 3 o'clock, and we'll open those there. We do reserve the right to refuse any and all offers. We'll start live racing up again at WRD this month. Some of our clinics are out of the ground, and we're looking forward to completing those timely. Concerts that we've got coming up tonight, we have Three Doors Down. Saturday night is Dancing with the Stars. Monday night's a group I'm sure a few have heard of. It's called the Cintas. It's a variety act out of Las Vegas. They used to headline at Rio. We'll see how that goes over. If it doesn't, that's my fault, because that's the one I asked for. And then we have Willie Nelson. Yeah, that's probably what's going to happen there. But I think they did it to teach me a lesson, to stay out of the entertainment business. Then we have Willie Nelson too next week. So got a lot going on, and people are working hard, and I'll answer any questions.
Madam Chair, one of my constituents asked why the Cherokee Nation does not have a bank or savings and loan. I told him that I know a few years ago you looked into it and it wasn't feasible, and I assume that that's still the case, or any comment?
Yeah, I think several years ago, the economy tanked and all of that. It might be time to revisit that. There's been various proposals from time to time to do that, Jack. So
You'll
yeah,
revisit it?
I think that's being looked at right now.
Okay.
Somebody's asked us to do that. So.
Okay, thank you.
Huh?
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. The renewals and so forth, and I think we're going to do some work at Hard Rock, and I understand that we're going to assign those out to management companies, kind of like it's been done in the past. Have y'all ever thought about using our own construction companies?
I missed the first part of that, Dick.
Well, as I understood it the other day, we're going to do some rehabilitation and some additional construction at Hard Rock.
Right.
And can we use our own construction people instead of outside management companies?
I believe Mike Ross's group got that. We have a bare bones facilities group that kind of goes around, does the emergency repairs for us. They do a great job. They've done a lot. The one down here's done a lot of work at the golf course, but I don't think they're set up to demo all that, and it would take quite a while. They've got 2 weeks, or a week for every 2 floors or something like that, but it ended up being a 6-week project. So on that kind of a deal, it's tough to do in-house.
So if we do any additional, like South Coffeyville, or any additional true construction, you would not want to consider Cheryl Conauer's group, or what?
Well, we would consider it, but Cheryl's got her hands full with the build out of the school at Riverside and the 4 clinics in the hospital. I'd have to just talk to her about what her capabilities are, but there's no reason not to if she has the capacity. They've done it. The Riverside School, when they're done, is going to be a great thing. That's Pearl in their.
Is it close to completion, the Riverside?
I believe it's scheduled for April or May.
Thank you.
Yes, if this Mike Ross's group, did they do, or aren't they doing the Redbird Smith
I believe they are.
rehab?
I believe they are.
They're doing a good job. They're just almost finished with the rehab.
Mike partnered.
And the thing that impresses me about that group is when I go in there, and he's got all Cherokees working. That's who's doing the work, so I appreciate that from him. I think he's got an office over in Muskogee too, so
Yes.
they do a good job. Thank you.
Councilwoman Watts?
Thank you. Did I understand, I know it's in the report, the South Coffeyville, but what are we building there at South Coffeyville?
Well, we're not building anything there like what we've talked about in the past. We've studied different markets around northeast Oklahoma, the 14 counties that might be underserved. We think South Coffeyville is one of those sites, and so we bought some acreage there, and we're trying to figure out a way with the BIA that we can do something there.
Okay, and
We
that's,
don't have those approvals yet.
okay, so that's gaming is what you're talking about, another casino there.
That would be what it would be.
Okay, thank you.
We could figure out a way to do it. Okay. Chairwoman, do I need to stick around? We have that concert tonight. I know sometimes things come up after I, if anybody had a question or Diane needed anything, I'd be glad to.
I'll just call you.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. Diane? Thank you, Madam Chairman, members of the committee. We have had a really exciting beginning of fiscal year, or calendar year, 2014. Of course, with the tarot amendments, we have been busy working with the procurement departments at the tribe as well as C&B to ensure that there's coordination and if there's input from them so that we're all on the same wavelength. So we started meetings with them, and we'll be meeting with them every quarter this fiscal year. We also, at the urgence of Mr. Slayton, asked that me and Mr. Bob Thomas start meeting on a regular basis so that we can assist them with any of their positions that they need that are kind of like revolving doors. And so food service was identified, which has been on the radar screen for quite some time, and we are doing a food service job fair in the Hard Rock area. We'll probably move around to different areas, but that's going to be our target for this next year, is to keep people in that pipeline. And as we start our day work training program, will start slowing down to some extent here in the next few months, which will allow my counselors time to start working and going out into the schools and getting job sites identified for our summer youth employment program. So during the months of March, April, and a portion of May, we'll be actually doing less job day training and probably working more on the summer youth, because it's the same people that do both jobs. And one of the things that we're doing in our economic development is doing these job fairs. So what we'll do is develop a grid for this next year in working with Bob to develop where we're actually going to go with those. So we're going to try to get more of our day training over with C&B so that we can get their foot in the door for some of these jobs. Because if they're coming in for needs and there's jobs over there, that's where we want to make sure that they go. And so we're going to work in that effort. This past week, we had our 4th conference call with Macy's. We are continuing to have conference calls with them every week. And there has been letters go out from the Macy's Corporation, not from us, from Macy's Corporation. And that we are helping them and assisting them with a job construction fair, which will be Wednesday, February the 26th at the Hard Rock. And Anna Knight and Stephen Hires and John Overacker and I are all working together on this. And we actually have sent out information to some of our tarot vendors. The construction fair will be by invitation only. They had a questionnaire with the letter that went out, and they asked the people that were wanting to do subcontract work to fill out that questionnaire, submit it to their office in Cincinnati, and then from there they would select the people that would be invited to the construction fair. There is another group that's working on the prime contractor, and we are aware that Flintco in Manhattan, I think Mr. Thornton brought up Manhattan, they actually have submitted for the general or the prime contract. There are other entities that have indicated an interest. In talking with the banking people Wednesday, they told us that they had received 16 emails that were very detailed. They'd had 2 voice messages. They had like 10 management companies. They had a need for some plumbers, and we told them about some plumbers that we were going to make some contact with so that they could get that information in, and also some mechanical maintenance. Hopefully it'll be a good job fair, construction fair, and then in the summer we hope to do some sort of a vendor fair to assist them, and then in the fall we'll be working with them and all of the different employment partners to do the recruitment and the hiring fair for the next location, or the next cycle. They're hoping to have their groundbreaking in March or April, and Of course, you know, it's not Indian only, but they're allowing us to be kind of in the driver's seat to assist our people, so that's what we're trying to do. I do want to brag a little bit. Jeff Vance had to bring me this information. He said for the month of January, we had a total of 31 participants hired as employees. 23 of them were day training participants, and 8 of them were work experience during the month of January. So I just wanted to say that, and they're all Cherokee. So do y'all have any questions?
Thank you. Thanks for the economic development report. Could you tell me more about this $113,000 and $113,070 contract for 10 months? Who's that with, and what do they do?
Okay, the $1,110,073, is that what you're talking about? That's
Well,
the
there's
budget?
in the report, there's mention of a contract for services of $113,070.
Okay, that was the last cycle. When we reported, what we did is we told the CMB board what we had done as far as the money and what we used it for this last year. So that report was a recap of last year's
Okay,
expenditures.
that should make it easier then. Who was the contract with? Who are they, and what did they deliver?
The contract.
There's not
Okay, the contract was with Career Services. It was for
This is
us to assist them.
subcontract. You did this with it says contracts for $113,070 for 10 months in terms of services.
Oh, that is our contract with Shane Kirby for this
Okay.
next year. Shane went from an employee to a contractor, independent contractor.
Okay, so what did he do for that amount of money?
Well, that's for this coming year. That was not in last year's budget. He was an employee last year on the contract. This is for the upcoming. And we are still working with him on that contract, and we're working to get all of that defined. But he's working with us to identify job sites out there where we can actually network with them for on-the-job training. And he's also working with some of the businesses at CMB on 8A, and he's working with some of our entities right now to get our foot in the door for some of
Was
those.
this what he did for you before?
Similar, although he was supervising before. He is not supervising. An independent contractor is not an employee, so he does not have supervisory authority. He basically will contact me, and I work through the different directors and their staff to go out and work on any of these projects that he has, that he comes up with.
Okay, because it's interesting on the pay differential then. Okay.
Well, as an independent contractor, he does not have access to a car, which he did before. He does not have access to an office. He has to have his own office, his own supplies. Basically, he has no authority with staff or anything. He's actually out there kind of on a freelance. He will have some deliverables to meet this next year, and he's working in that capacity so that he can go out and do various things, not only for me, but to do some things for CMB and whatever's needed.
Yeah, is Mr. Mike Bailey, is he part of this as well
No,
at
ma'am,
all?
he is not.
Okay.
No.
That question was posed to me, so I wanted to ask. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yes, approximately what do we have in the budget for remaining for summer youth and day work program? Do you recall?
Our summer youth budget, we met this morning, and our summer youth budget for federal, I think, is around $275,000 or $250,000, and then our tribal, I think, was close to around $500,000. And Jeff has used some of that for some of the college students or high school seniors that are working like maybe 10, 12, 15 hours a week, kind of in lieu of their work study.
Do you see on the horizon that we might need more?
At this point in time, since we're going to be working with 16-year-olds and older, I don't see that we're going to be able to do that, because right now, with me having to utilize the same staff to do summer youth, day work, and also they're working in the economic development for the referrals for C&B, I think they've got their plates loaded right now. And if I foresee that we have more coming in the pipeline, I will get with the treasurer, and then she and I can visit with the chief and get back with you on that. But right now, we haven't actually started taking applications. We'll start taking them, I think, next week.
And the same question for day work, how is our budget right now on that program?
We are working with Treasurer Horn right now on that, and one of the things that we have to do, because we use the same staff to do both, we have to start tapering off in the spring to allow the counselors time to get out to the schools. Because as council members, you all hear from your schools, your constituents about whether or not my counselors have been out there to their schools to take applications. So they've got to have that time out in the field, and the best time for them to do that is right about around March, April, and May before summer you start. So I try to taper it where we kind of scale down a little bit, and then we'll start back up. And I've explained this earlier today.
So you'll let us know on programs if you run low, if we need to,
Yes, ma'am, I will.
because those are really important programs.
Yes, and I had a meeting with the treasurer this morning regarding that, and I think she can back up what we're
Well,
doing.
this is where the 31 participants came from that received permanent job offers.
They came through, there's 20, let's see, what did I tell you? Go back to my notes. There was 23 that was day training and 8 were work experience. And I will tell you that Karen Ketcher and Linda O'Leary approached us about helping them to help with the registration office, and we lined up 9 people yesterday for them. Yesterday afternoon, we pulled in 9 students, day training people, and they interviewed them this morning around 9 o'clock, and they were going to pick out 4. Then Karen came back and said, we want 5, and then a while ago she told me, she said, we took 7. So we're very proud of the fact that we have access to pull those people in, and that they're going to be able to do something very good for our Cherokee people. And I appreciate Karen and Linda asking us to assist them. And then we've also had a request from Connie Parnell over at the election office, and we're going to be working with her as well.
Well, I just commend you on the success of these programs, because that's what it's all about. We want to get people placed in a permanent situation, and that's what you're doing, and we're proud of.
It's not me, it's my counselors, especially my counselors in this office, because they see probably 3 times as many as all the other offices. But all my counselors work very hard. Gwen Shotpouch has got probably the biggest territory. She's doing Bartlesville, Nowata. And by the way, we have a full-time counselor in Veneta that we've never had before, because the counselor that was up there worked other areas. But Gwen is on a full-time basis there, and does field days.
Please pass that along to your staff.
I will.
I mean, this 31 participants was in a month.
Yes.
If you keep that rate up, then a third of what you put on these programs will find permanent employment. That's excellent.
Well-
I wonder if any other governmental entity can say the same thing.
I don't know, but we're real proud of it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good report, Diane.
Thank you.
I do have, in our report, I wanted to update that we have commercial loans of about $500,000 approved this year. As of today, we've done $1.3 million in commercial loans since October 1st. So this is shaping up to be our biggest year yet. We're also getting ready to open the Cowley Cafe in the Court Mall in downtown Tahlequah, which will be an entrepreneurial training center. We're working in conjunction with Diane and trying to, it'll be similar to the day training program, but they'll be taught entrepreneurial development skills and hopefully be able to open a business of their own upon graduation or shortly thereafter. We're also participating with Rogers State University in the Dream Big Oklahoma business plan competition, and we're handling Delaware, Cherokee, Adair, and Sequoia counties, and it's a $5,000 cash prize to the winner. The business plans are due online next at the end of next week, and then from those they'll be selected entrepreneurs to make a personal pitch to a team of judges, and then someone will from those 4 counties will win the $5,000 cash prize. So if that's about all I have to report other than what's in the report. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to try to answer. All righty.
Arrow first. Or?
Anything we need to know, John?
Well, the list is complete.
I had some questions for them before we approved it.
Okay. John?
John, is the Tarot committee still our staff and it's the same, or have there been changes recently?
No, there were some changes recently, and I think Diane can probably detail that more. We actually use some directors and managers out of career services and the Job Corps as well right now. So it is a new committee.
So the folks that used to be the committee are no longer the committee, and there's a new committee?
That is correct.
Okay, so is the process still the same, that those committee members have to review tax filings and other paperwork in detail before they're approved, or have things changed there too?
No, they're still reviewing the applications just like the other committee was.
So, and going into detail to make sure, because I know there was a number of, there's some new businesses on there, and there's some partnerships and stuff, and I didn't know if the same level of detail was looked at to make sure that the Indian people were receiving the money, or what we were certifying these people for in terms of the codes and.
Yeah, the skill is actually, that's for the tarot side. We actually make sure when we send Christine Rogers out there, who oversees the application process for us, who helps the vendors, she actually does the site visits, or I may do a site visit, or we make sure that the skills are saying that they can do, they actually perform, and they're not brokering those out. But as far as the committee looked at the applications, and I apologize, I wasn't at the meeting the last meeting. If you need more details, I can send you some more information on that. But they do look at everything, the ownership, just the same way the other committee did.
Could you get confirmation from them since you weren't there and let us know one way or another?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair.
Make a motion to be approved.
Motion, is there a second? Second. Second. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? On to cemeteries.
You do have a new list that was handed out earlier since the mailing, and the one that was added today is a Macklemore Cemetery in District 7.
Make a motion to be approved.
Motion from Maliyyə. Second. Second from Denise. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? On to community assistance.
Okay, there was a new report handed out earlier, and there's also been one addition that was noted, $1,000 for the Hulbert Backpack Program, split between Chief Bird and Counselor Walkenstick. That's the only addition I had, unless somebody else.
Do I hear a motion? Okay, got a motion? And a second by Mr. Riss. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Law enforcement?
There is nothing to approve this month, but you will note that the 2014 allocation is on the report now. That's actually in the budget mod that's be later today, but the numbers are in the report now. It's $19,351.25 each. So if that passes through, the budget mod passes through and everything, that'll be your allocation this year. Just a note on that. So
There's no law enforcement, okay. How about roads?
yeah, it was slightly. If I recall, it was like 18,000 something last year, so it's a little bit higher.
Any roads?
Yes, and
Hold on,
there.
Jody. Councilman.
I need, of course, Jody, I've discussed this with you, I need to pull the 45 and the 195.
Yes, that was a change, and also there was one addition since the mailing, and that was for under the special bridge funding and access projects, Owens driveway for Councilor Garvin for $500. That was an addition after the mailing in the packet. So basically, we have the $96,000 on the motor vehicle tax for Browns Loop for Councilor Vasquez, and $15,000 for Mr. Lay on the east-west 21 road, and $500 for Mr. Garvin. So, that's it.
Made and seconded, second by Keener, all those in favor? All those opposed? Sports team.
There was a new report handed out earlier. There's 2 additions today since the packet, Panthers basketball and Lady Thunder.
There a motion? Motion's been made by King.
Councilor Fishinghawk,
Yes?
are we on community assistance? I'm having difficulty hearing. Is that,
Sports teams,
oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I apologize. Thank you.
do you need to go back?
We've already done community assistance.
Yeah, but we can go back.
I'd appreciate it. Yes, thank you. I'm sorry. There's a lot of paper shuffling and it's hard to
Okay.
hear.
That's fine. The motion was made by Janice for sports teams?
Yes.
And seconded by Walking Stick. All those in favor? All those opposed? Let's go back to community assistance. Julia, what would you like to add?
I think Jack and I want to give $375 each to Salagi, LA, which is in Los Angeles, to the Cherokee Township of Central Texas, which is in San Antonio, and the Cherokee Citizens League of Southeast Texas, which is in Houston.
You got that down, Jody?
Can you repeat those, Julia?
Salagi, LA,
Okay.
Cherokee Township of Central Texas,
Okay.
Cherokee Citizens League of Southeast Texas.
Okay. And that was $375 each.
Yes.
Which, 750 total, 375.
Okay, $750 for each of them, split between the 2. Okay.
Correct. Thank
Okay.
you.
So I make a motion that we approve those.
Motion's made and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Taken care of, Julia. Okay, livestock.
There's no new ones this month.
Excuse me. Okay, old business, Rich?
I'm sorry?
Old business item?
Old business.
It's a discussion of the Terrell Law.
You know, I think it's time to, I think we're gonna do that. In new business, I think I'll just go ahead and ask to just withdraw that.
Okay, on to new business, number 1, Mr. David Thornton.
Yes, Madam Chair, I'd like to have a motion that we approve item 1 and item 2 for valuation surplus office equipment.
Okay, 1 and 2, have to have a motion. Seconded by David Walking Stick. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Okay, number 3, Kira.
A resolution authorizing Cherokee Nation Warehouse to donate surplus to Chelsea Boys and Girls Club in Rogers County. And I believe Lee Keener should have been on this as well as a sponsor.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve.
Have a motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Yes. Resolution authorizing Cherokee Nation Warehouse to donate surplus office equipment to the J Museum.
Second.
Second. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Number 5, Connie, on the correction.
Yes, this is a resolution authorizing Cherokee Warehouse to donate surplus office equipment to Orchard Road Community Outreach in Edgar County. I put that in form of motion.
seconds it. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Victoria, number 6.
Yes, I make a motion we adopt a resolution authorizing Cherokee Nation Warehouse to donate surplus office equipment to Native American Fellowship, Inc. in Craig County. That's South Coffeyville.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, motion made and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Yes. An act amending LA 30-12, Cherokee Nation Employment Right Act, and I make a motion for its approval, and I'd like to be added as a sponsor, please.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. David Ford, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
If we could have a little discussion on the, I believe, the AG's office had one concern. Is that right?
If you passed it as is, no.
Okay, if we pass it as is, no, okay.
Right.
I'm sorry, I withdraw.
Only
that.
if we were going to add other things.
Okay, no. Sit down. I'm sorry.
Jody? Lee?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So, since the cat's out of the bag, what we're going to approve is what we've already updated and gone.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
all right.
it included the things that you guys requested changes on from the last time.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Now I call for the question, I guess, since I interrupted you.
Will. Councilwoman.
Thank you. So I had a couple of questions, like, for example, one scenario, so CRC is one of our companies, but the way you define project, so if they're working on Riverside School in Anadarko, I don't think that Terra law would apply to them even on that job, right? Even though they're one of our companies and they should have Terra
Our
compliance?
entities, it already applies to our entities. That project definition only applies to people who are not our entities. But
Okay.
it includes our entities already.
So how did I was trying to figure out and work through, because I didn't get it separately, I had to wait for the book. I'd expected it kind of electronic copy. If I missed it,
Okay.
I'm sorry, but professional contracting, such as architects, engineers, marketing, we talked about it, but I don't think we ever really addressed how best, like, the Terra law would work on professional folks versus others. So could you walk me through how this law, as it's changed, would help affect those professionals doing projects for us?
They will still be considered a contractor, so for any subcontracts they do, they still have to follow the Terra laws. What they're not considered is an employer. And that only affects them or will not affect them because they're not coming to our sites doing work in a way where they need a permit. Those permits and the definition of employer is more relevant to where you're going to get a permit and you're going to be on our site and need it to show a permit that you're there working, and so that they can see that you are having a permit like you should and that we don't have other people coming on the job that we don't know about. It's not the case with most professional type contracts. They still have to follow the law, but not as an employer, as a contractor, so they have to follow the Terra law for subcontracting.
But it wouldn't affect their employment on their employment base, even if they go out and hire, I think, Red Wing or I don't remember what the name of this company is, Red Square, the marketing contract. So the way I understood it, and this was just feedback coming to me off the streets, so to speak, from the employee base, was that they went out and they hired 20 people to fulfill the contract they took with us. To my knowledge, none of them were Cherokee. So there's no way to get them to comply with Terra in that situation. And let's say they just made that up. It's not even Red Square or whatever else. I think we have that situation going on, but I'm hearing that we can't ask them to comply, and those are, more lucrative job opportunities.
We were trying to limit project definition because of what that definition was being used for, which is those work permits. If it weren't being used for those work permits, I think it would be a different story, but because that is what they're used for, and that's when you're requiring them to hire Cherokees and to do those things, you're going to assess a fee against them, and for having these work permits that aren't relevant to that type of work. So if there's another definition for project, we've always been open to.
I mean, and it sounds like, I mean, there's more discussion. I mean, we didn't finish this discussion, I guess, last time. So it sounds like actually a solution would be that in those professional services, maybe they don't qualify as being a tarot firm if it's just the owner that's Indian or Cherokee. They would have to show, we would do better in terms of employing other people around them if we showed that their employee base was of some significance.
I don't know how that affects. Answer more on like when they're.
I'm trying to figure out how we impact.
What?
Discuss with her, you and Hina's wording on pulling the contract.
I think when we're looking at projects, we're looking at people coming to actually performing work on our site. That's what we go by now. There are some contracts out there now for OG&E, some attorneys, and some professional services that never touch foot on our properties. So we've been using it since I've been here for 7 years, that if someone actually steps foot on our property, then they are required to pay the penalty. Because sometimes we'll have, like, let's give an example, an engineering firm. An engineering firm may just be doing it from their office in Oklahoma City or Tulsa, but once they step foot on our property, then that's when it kicks in. If they're not in, it's $25 per day and things like that as well. That's what we've been doing in the past. In the law, you read also on our contractors, we took out the part where we can no longer force them to replace their non-Indians. We are going to recommend that they do, but the ace in the hole that we have, I guess, is if they do not take our qualified Cherokee citizens, the Taro has the right to remove their contract. So any company, when we're starting, it goes to the pre-bid, to the bid opening, to the D-scopes, and at the D-scopes then, and then there's a pre-construction meeting right before they start the project. And at that time, if we have Cherokees that are available or other Indians, that's when we let them know that, hey, we have these 5 or 6 people that are going to come to work here. Are you going to take them or not? Well, if they choose not to, then the process is going to start back over because we now reserve the right to pull that contract from that vendor and go to the next vendor who wants to hire our Cherokee citizens.
And so you do that for engineers and everybody else?
If they're going to come on site. But most of the time, the engineers are not coming on site. If they come in, it's a walkthrough. It's kind of like we've never charged $25 a day for delivery drivers. People that are coming in and driving a truck into our property and just dumping the truck. We've never charged $25 a day for that. Because they interchange so fast. And they're not really performing work on our site, they're just dropping something off. But once they trigger and come on to our project, it'd be like doing a software update. If we were doing a computer software push across the Cherokee Nation, and they sold us the software, and it never at any time did they come on site, there would be no work permit fees. The only time there would be is if they come on site, they had to come on site because our system wasn't taking it. They had to manually do stuff and different things like that.
That was helpful, thank you. I had one last question. And I had meant to ask this before, but on your performance list, is that a public document?
I don't, at this point right now, we're still working on that.
Will you roll something out so people have expectations on that performance list?
Yes, and I think realistically what we've been talking about, and this just maybe me saying this, everybody else may take a step back, but after this law passes, we're going to need probably about 3 months. Because I have to change my general provisions. We have to change a lot of policies and procedures, how we were doing things. We have to actually revamp the debarment system. We have to actually, with the Attorney General's office, we're going to have to, the waiver, where if they have to put a job out there for two positions, or 2 weeks, or the position twice, advertise it twice, and we don't have a Cherokee, then we're going to have to, there's going to need to be a policy for that, and the Attorney General will help us do that as well. So we're going to have to write several different policies that tie into the changes that we've changed into the Act as well.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, both. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, we had a motion and a second. All those in favor? All those opposed?
Thank you.
Denise, Jody, you want to come forward? Denise, you want to make a motion on number 8, lead us into discussion?
Yes, I do. This is an act amending the legislative act 22-13 authorizing comprehensive capital budget for fiscal year 2014, Law 2, and declaring an emergency. I can put that in the form of a motion.
Okay, get a motion, second. Go ahead, Judge.
There is one capital budget this month, motor vehicle tax, highways, construction, counting unit 105, 2000. So is general fund vehicle tax modification requesting an increase in expenditure authorization of $1,554,468 related to the 2013 allocation of motor vehicle tax revenue and balancing of previously estimated carryover. The allocation to the roads is 20% of gross motor vehicle tax collections in 2013. The allocation of that allocation to roads, 90% goes to this construction budget and 10% goes to the roads administration budget that's presented over in the operating budget. The actual allocation you can see on one of the little spreadsheets attached to this budget is $1,705,000 for this year. But they had estimated $200,000 too much in carryover, so that's the reason why it's $1,554,000.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Number 9, please.
Me? Okay, this is an act amending legislative act 2113 authorizing the comprehensive operating budget for fiscal year 2014, 5, and declaring an emergency. I'd like to put that in the form of a motion.
Second.
The total modification in number 5 is $1,702,224. There's grants reporting, actually of a negative $49,485, and most of those are related to carryover reconciliations. In the actual mod request, there's 9 budgets for $1,751,709. Item 1 is economic development, 1010-563, general fund. Modification requesting an increase in expenditure authorization of $973,197. That's a small reduction related to carryover reconciliation, and $1,110,073 is additional revenue from an amendment to the MOU with CNB. That's the economic development MOU that Diane was talking about earlier. Item 2, motor vehicle tax, public schools, 105-1000. General fund vehicle tax, modification requesting an increase in the expenditure authorization of $237,963 related to the allocation of motor vehicle tax revenue, final carryover and balancing of previous estimates. The total 38% allocation to schools is $3,600,736, and the new budget for this budget is $3,212,451. You can also, because this is the public school portion, the items 3, 4, 5, and 6 are Cherokee Nation related that I'll go through. Item 3, motor vehicle tax, Sequoia High School, 105-1010. Modification requesting an increase in expenditure authorization of $17,044 related to the 2013 allocation of motor vehicle tax revenue, final carryover, and balancing of previous estimates. The new total for this budget is $107,044. Item 4, motor vehicle tax for Head Start. Modification requesting a decrease in expenditure authorization of $31,114 related to the 2013 allocation of motor vehicle tax revenue, final carryover, and balancing of previous estimates. The new total for this budget is now $82,381. Item 5, motor vehicle tax immersion, 105-1012. Modification requesting an increase in expenditure authorization of $18,364 related to the allocation of motor vehicle tax revenue, final carryover, and balancing of previous estimates. The new total for this budget is now $28,364. Item 6, motor vehicle tax public school co-op, 105-1020, modification requesting an increase in expenditure authorization of $235,415 related to the 2013 allocation of motor vehicle tax revenue, final carryover, and balancing of previous estimates. The new total for this budget is now $570,159. This budget is for the A to F scorecard assistance to public schools and is the 5% of the 38% school allocation and the matching 5% from general fund. The matching amount from general fund is reserved out of the residual of the motor vehicle tax that goes to general fund. Item 7, motor vehicle tax highways administration. Modification requesting an increase in expenditure authorization of $235,415 related to the allocation of motor vehicle tax revenue and balancing of previously estimated final carryover. The new total for this budget is now $414,434, consisting of $224,922 carryover and $189,512 current allocation. The allocation to roads is 20%, and of the total revenue, again, this is the 10% administration portion. Item 8, motor vehicle tax local law enforcement, 105-4100. Modification requesting an increase in expenditure authorization of $38,988 related to the motor vehicle tax revenue and balancing a previously estimated carryover. The new total for this budget is now $328,988, consisting of $36,719 in carryover and $290,269 current allocation. The current allocation for law enforcement is 20% of net revenues. For this calculation, net revenues are after tag office expenditures and after allocation to schools and roads. Item 9, meth and suicide prevention, 3324040, IHS Self-Governance Health. It's modification requesting an increase in expenditure authorization of $70,558 for carryover reconciliation. The new total for this budget is now $184,198. There's a lot of motor vehicle tax budgets in there.
I would like to ask one thing, and this is related to the budget, but it's for next month. I would like for education to come in and just tell us how what schools they're approaching about helping them with their A through F schools. Okay? If we can just get that next month.
Okay, did you hear what the request? Okay.
Next month, Dr. John, if you would include in your report how the education department is utilizing the funds to assist the schools moving their grades up on that A through F situation with the state of Oklahoma. Okay. And possibly enlighten us as to what y'all are doing and what schools are being approached, and because they have several schools in my area we really want to help. High Indian population, high Cherokee population, and they need some help with their schools. We'll definitely introduce that for you. Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Any announcements? The next meeting is tentatively scheduled for Thursday, February 27th, at 3 o'clock. Do I hear a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.